Thanks for sending in your question. This is a great question. How do we know which way an absolute value function is facing? Is it going up or is it going down? As an example, you gave me y equals the absolute value of x plus 3. We know that this is an absolute value function facing upward. So it's going in an upward V shape. And we can plot this by just plugging in a few points to test our hypothesis. So let's go ahead and make a t-chart over here on the side. And we're going to pick a couple points to plug in for x, and then we'll figure their output on y, and then we'll plot those points. I always like -1, 0, and 1 because they're super easy to compute. Let's go ahead and plug in -1. If we plug in -1, we get y equals the absolute value of -1, which is 1, plus 3. That simplifies into y equals 1 plus 3, so we would get 4. 0 is really easy to plug in. If we plug in 0, what we would get is y equals 0 plus 3, which is 3. 1 similarly is also very easy to plug in. If we plug in 1, we get y equals 1 plus 3, which is 4. Let's go ahead and plot that. When we plugged in -1, we got 4, so let's go over -1 on the x-axis and we'll go up 1, 2, 3, 4. When we plugged in 0, we got 3, so we'll stay at 0 on x and go up 1, 2, 3. And when we plugged in 1, we outputted 4 for y, so 1, 2, 3, 4. If I connect these points right here, I'm going to see that I get an upward facing V. It's going to look something like that. You know it's going to be downward facing if your absolute value equation were, for instance, something like this versus the example that you gave me. The difference here is that we have a negative in front of the absolute value bars. When you put that negative in front of the absolute value bars, it flips the entire absolute value equation upside down, and you will get a graph that looks something like this. You can also, if you're unsure, plug in -1, 0, and 1 and see which way your points are going. Thanks again for your question, Monique, and I look forward to answering more of your questions using SnapMath in the future.